Yeah, and we can time also we can reduce instead of 1 hour. We can be 30
No, anyway,
minutes,
we are going to
45
meet
minutes.
1 hour. Hey, by the way, I am having an induction today.
Oh, what time is that?
Huh?
9, huh?
No, 9:30 to 11:30.
Ah, okay.
Okay, welcome to ABB.
Thank you.
Yes, official welcome to ABB.
Yeah, I think Padmashri doesn't know, or she already knows.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Vilas has been hired as direct contract for 2 years for PCP. So I got one e-ride and all from Roland and Bernard, and so like that. So he'll work full time. So he will get targets and
Is coming. Okay, so let's continue, but then we will go ahead. From where
Which
we
shloka today? Kriya Samadhiharena.
No, we have to go with 390. No, yeah, 390 we finished. 391. Oh, we finished that.
So
Also. Sorry, we finished
that. That is also over. I think now what we have is a Kriya Samadhiharena. Next one, right?
Satyeva idam, that is also done. Yes. Yes, you are right. 393.
Okay. Kriya Samaviharena yatra nanyaditi shrutihi raviti daityarahityam mithyadhyasa nivruttaye. The Shruti in the passage where one sees nothing else and so on declares by an accumulation of verbs the absence of duality. in order to remove the false superimpositions.
Okay. So very straightforward is Kriya is work. Some abhiharena. Abhi means higher. Harena ahara. So it's like giving food. So when we give food to the mind, it creates its own reality. If you stop giving food, then there is nothing that comes, which is what Shruti says that. That means the scripture says that don't give food to the mind, which will then create a reality which is totally duality. So, bhaveti dvaita rahitam rahityam mithya adhyas nivrittaye. Nivritti. Nirvritti. Vritti means modification. So, without any modifications, which means superimposition. As an example, this morning I was talking to my wife. What is mithya jnana here? Mithya jnana is when I see this person in front of me. Atadrupam happens. That is, I easily take that to be my wife. That body who is sitting in the front to be my wife. And when that happens, the ahara is given to the mind. So it starts to enjoy or suffer as a consequence of giving ahara. What if I take a body as just a body? Then what happens? There is no body. That means earlier also it was disembodied. Now it is embodied. Very soon it becomes disembodied. This can be seen. We need to say that avyakta, vyakta, avyakta can be easily seen. So there is nothing else as a person being there, even though for conventional reasons we can talk about a person sitting in front and we are transacting. So that's what the Shruti says is what this shloka talks about. So it is reality alone that exists, nothing else which exists. Yeah, but you can continue 394.
394. Akashavan nirvikalpa nisima nispandana nirvikaram antarbhai shunya mananya madvayam swayam param brahma kimasti bodhyam. The Supreme Brahman is like the sky, pure, absolute, infinite, motionless and changeless, devoid of interior and exterior. The one existence without a second and is one's own self. Is there any other object of knowledge?
Yes. So the thing is, whatever we are knowing today, or whatever we have known from our childhood till today, have all perished. It's there in the memory, but that experience is perished. To cite an example, is that today I'll be furnishing all the degree certificates and all that, marks card and all. So I was watching on Saturday when I was scanning. The effort what I have put to pass the exam is just that paper. And when I get a death certificate sooner or later, the certificate will be burnt because of no use. Like I have already burnt off my father's degrees or whatever certificate he had when he died, because it's of no use holding it. Then when my mother died, from her school, a mark sheet of first standard till 10th and her graduation and the photograph relating to her graduation, how so nice it was looking, etc., etc. It hardly took 5 minutes to burn off. So whatever the person learned, so-called learned or learned, is of no use, because what he should learn is Brahman, not about these things. It doesn't mean that we should not get this knowledge. It is required only for transaction. It's not required for anything. This thing is not going to help even us, even for 5 minutes. So when I was scanning all the documents, I was looking at, it took me around 7 minutes or 8 minutes to scan from my SSC to my degree and then all the other certificate what they're asking. So the effort of 15 years to clear the SSLC or SSC exam, another 2 years of struggling to pass the 12th standard, then another few years to cross the bachelor degree, then few years again for masters, and then so many other things. It all took 7 minutes, hardly 7 minutes. I think 7 minutes is an exaggeration. Just the scanning hardly would have taken any time. So it is the effort what I put for, let's say, 27 or 25 years before I started my job, or rather I started early also. 24 is when I started working. And after that, whatever certification I've done and all that is of no use. In all that has happened is 5 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever that minute as a scanning, and once I upload it, whatever these people are asking, there ends the matter, and nobody cares about what I've done. But when I was studying, there was so much of pressure to pass and do the same thing I'm doing, or we both are doing, to our son. And this process is an idiotic process wherein you keep on doing something which is of absolute no use. So when I was doing it, I just put my death certificate there to see how it looks. What would happen if I put a death certificate scanning also along with this scanning and make late Vilas Kadiwal? What happens? Let's see what happens. And then it was a real profound experience to see that it doesn't exist. There is absolutely no existence. In fact, there is one application form which I was filling, and I'm filling my father as late so and so, and late mother as late so and so. It doesn't matter what degree they had qualified or what they have done in their life, it absolutely is of no use. So what this shloka talks about is, it's like a sky. It is untainted and absolute. So because I have done my degree or this or that, the reality is not going to change. This is a perceived reality. It really doesn't exist. My degree and qualification and work I am going to do is based upon the limits, and it is motion oriented. It depends on the project, and it is completely modifiable. That means I can be replaced by another person, or that role can be removed, or it can be going through different kind of modification. And antar bahihi shunyam, it is shunya. And initially when we started on discussion, Bhatt was always having a hours word on shunya, thinking that is the Buddha's language of shunya and purnatva. So now this shloka talks about that shunya. It is devoid of anything there. Antar bahi shunyam ananyam advayam, no non-dual. So when we come to non-dual, it is shunya. The whole world is shunya. It doesn't exist in the way we see it. So all my qualifications, whatever good or bad they seem to be, all my job profile, however good or bad they seem to be, is of no use. Absolutely worse than a trash. And that doesn't mean that I should not do this. You can do it, but I shouldn't be taking it too seriously that I'm doing all of this. When that happens, you are always in Swayam, yourself. Paramam Brahma Kim Asti Bodhyam. So why should I then learn anything else or know anything else other than this? Everything else is just a superimposition. So let the superimposition be there, but it is a modification, it is a limitation, it is motion oriented. So let it be, just like a cloud over the sky. Clouds move. Why should the sky be perturbed by that? So if I make it as late Vilas Kadiwal, then what happens? There is no existence of this so-called person. But that doesn't mean that Brahman doesn't exist. So there are three late now. One late father, late mother, and late son. So if I were to practice this diligently every day when I attend to my work, if I were to make it as late so and so, as I'm filling the form, even though I'm putting the name and everything and my qualification, etc., having understood on Saturday the time it has taken to see that this degree certificates, etc., has taken only 5 minutes to scan, can't I make it as late? If I can do that, shouldn't get any biased at all, no matter the consequence of the work. So two consequences are going to happen. One consequence is the company is going to like what I'm doing and they will continue. And the second consequence is that the company is not going to like what I'm doing and they're going to discontinue. Other than that, nothing else, third thing is not going to happen. So it becomes advayam, non-dual. If I am interested in making things sure that it happens, so I am in duality now. I exist and that also exists. So if I make it as late Vilas Kadiwal, then neither I exist right now. It's just a name given, it doesn't matter. So you just do the role and be done with it. And if they don't like it, okay, no problems. If they love it, great, continue whatever you're doing, because that direction shows that I don't have to do anything more than what I'm doing. Okay, 395th verse.
394, right?
5.
Akasha Nirmala.
5. We just finished that Akasha.
Oh, sorry. I was there only. Sorry, correct. Vyaktavyam kimu vidyatetra bahudha brahmaiva jiva swayam brahmaita jagata tatam no sakalam brahma dvitiyam shrutihi brahmaivahamiti prabuddha matayah santyakta bahya sputam brahmi bhuya vasanti santata chidanandatma naitat dhruvam. What is the use of relating on this subject? The Jiva is no other than Brahman. This whole extended universe is Brahman itself. The Shruti inculcates the Brahman without a second, and it is an indubitable fact that people of enlightened minds who know their identity with the Brahman and have given up their connection with the objective world live palpably unified with the Brahman as eternal knowledge and bliss.
Okay, very good one. So,
Very nice.
Yeah, Vaktavyam. Vakta is to speak. Vaktavyam means complete speaking. So, what more to be said if I were to make my name as a late so and so? Other than what has already been said. Vidyate atra bahuda. Now this Jivi came into existence as Vilas because Brahman existed. Now that Jivi is put to rest or laid to rest by burning the body and putting that in the water. Whether, let's say, my son will take it to Kaveri or wherever he takes it and he throws that thing completely. And he comes home after a few months, just like I did for my father and mother, he is going to burn away all my certificates. And that's all what was there from beginning. I never had a certificate when I was being born. This certificates and other things, merit, etc. came because of Brahman. Now that this body no longer exists, there is no other than Brahman. So what is the point in talking more than what is required? Brahma eta jagadatmam na sukham na sakalam brahma advitiyam shrutihi brahma eva aham iti prabuddha matayah santyakta bahya sputam brahmi bhuya vasanti santata chidananda atmana eva etat dhruvam. So if I see the Jagat, that is the four of us, or five of us right now, it's just the Jagat. So if I were to see Bhatt, he has his samsara as an extension of Brahman. Then if I say Lata, then there's an extension of Brahman. And then Padmashri and Srihari and my wife and my son and all of that. So if I were to keep on extending of the people whom I know, including my sister who is now listening from US, if I were to put her also, and her brother and my uncles and aunts and so many people, they are only extension of Brahman. But they never existed as aunt or uncle or brother or sister or mother or father or whatever, because it clearly shows up. So The day I burnt my father and mother, it is gone. There's nothing like they existed. They were there playing the role. And then when they did not exist, became late, so and so. So, Brahman alone I am. So if you are enlightened to that, you are able to see that in your reflection. You see that only Brahman exists. These people were existing because of life. They were not existing because they had an independent existence other than life. And a life was given by the Brahman. And when the time ended, the life was removed from that solid object. So it didn't have anything else to do. So we have coined a term that when a person comes and we say we register that person in the corporation or in the wherever it has to be as a person is born, and we have a date of birth and other things. And when that consciousness departs, and then we have date of death and reason of death, etc., etc., just a paper. So paper was registered in the person's name, and paper was again registered when that person left. So if we really see everything, it's only the paperwork what we have. So the certificates, from birth certificate to death certificate, is just a paper. Property things are just a paper. Appointment letter is just a paper. The job description is just a paper. Everything is paper. There's nothing other than a paper, either scanned or otherwise. It's just a document. So the person is just a document. Nothing more than a document. So Brahmi bhuya vasanti santata chidananda atmana etad dhruvam. Becoming Brahman in identity, they live ever as an eternal knowledge and bliss. If I were to really understand this, that I am just a document moving from one to another, one state to another, then I don't have anything to hold on to. When there is nothing to hold on to, I only hold on to the Brahman, because everything is modifiable. So the status, like I was reading and laughing, it is asking me, are you married or single? So now I'm putting married. But actually everyone is single. Nobody is married as such. No matter how much they try, they cannot marry because it's only in the paper. Do you have children? Yes, in the paper, 100%. But do you really have children? No. Nobody has any children till date. And nobody has any father and mother till date. They are only on paper. And nowhere else they can find it. So, if we reflect upon like this, one can for certain see this. It's only the self which is there than anything. Any questions? If not, then we can go to 396.
Jahimalamaya koshe handiyotthapitasham prasabhamanilakalpe lingadehepi paschat nigama gadita kirtim nityamananda murtim swayamiti parichiya brahma rupena tishtha.
Okay. Jahi. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
First,
go ahead.
destroy the hopes raised by egoism in this filthy gross body. Then do the same forcibly with the air-like subtle body and realizing Brahman, the embodiment of eternal bliss, whose glories the scriptures proclaim as the own self and live as Brahman. Destroy means both the gross and subtle bodies are coverings over the Atman. The existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, and freedom consists in going beyond them. Yeah.
Okay, Jahi means to destroy. So, if I were to put that Saturday's experience when I was scanning these documents and everywhere in the form make it as late Vilas Kadiwal and really stick to that. So when I submit today at 9:30, if I were to make it as an annihilation of this gross filthy body and the Sukshma Sharira, which is the subtle mental body, if I were to do both of them, when I am going to be interviewed or spoken about or whatever it is, All the questions are being asked to the late Vilas Kadiwal, not to me. If I were to do it, what happens? Nigama Gadita Kirtim Nityam Anandamurtim. So immediately I turn myself into an Anandamurti because nothing is going to happen to me per se. They are collecting documents on somebody called as Vilas, and I'm giving those documents. Other than that, there is nobody else there. So when I do that, the bliss is certain. Bliss here means equanimity. That is, I don't produce any substance, either as a hope or otherwise. Hope and despair both will not be there. So without hope and despair, I hope that from today my life in the company is going to be good. That's a hope. And despair is that I have a fear that what if I lose my job? Because now there would be so many things that will come into play. So I will be evaluated, I will be done this, I will be done that, and then every year I'm supposed to get myself checked. What is going to happen? Both medically and also professionally, and both are scary things. So if I were to make it as late Vilas Kadiwal, then that problem is gone. With that problem gone, Swayam iti parichaya Brahma Rupena Tishtata, and removal of that experience as Vilas, if that is not there, I live in the Brahman, in true spirit. There's nothing I need to do. If somebody says go to office, just go to office. Somebody says go and get your medical test done, okay, get it done. Somebody says that you have kept a very good body, okay, you have kept a very bad body, okay. I don't think so you have the knowledge what is required to deliver, or the salary what we are paying, okay. I think you have more than what we offer you, also okay. Because it's all about late person. It's not about the person in picture at all. So it would be literally good. Now if I make it as late so and so person, where is the son and where is the wife? It's not there. And it was never there. So they both will deal with life the way they will deal it. So as a person right now with consciousness, I will have to do what is prudent at that point in time. And that answer is in 397 when we go there. Yeah, but you can read out 397.
Chavakaram yavat bhajati manujasthavada shuchihi parebhyasyat klesho janana marana vyadhi nilayah yadatmanam shuddham kalayati shivakara macharam tadate mukto bhavatihi tadaha shrutirapi. Meaning is, so long as man has any regard for this corpse-like body, he is impure and suffers from his enemies as also from birth, death and disease. But when he thinks of himself as pure, as the essence of good and immovable, he assuredly becomes free from them. The Shrutis also say this. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing we can say is Shiva and Shava. Just a word difference, but it's a profound difference. As long as Shiva exists in the body, it is not Shava. The moment the Shiva exits from the body, it becomes Shava. So what we have to see is Shava, not Shiva, because you are Shiva. There's nothing more to see than what you're seeing. I, you and everyone are holding on to this body as mine, and the intellect also as mine. And because of that tenacious grasping and craving for existence, the Shiva comes all the time. But when you know you are the Shiva, and everything is Shava. So where is the person? Where is anything at all? Where is the relationship? Where is what you think exists? Everything is Shunya. So when we really see that way, then there is no birth, there is no death, there is no disease. As long as we don't see that, as long as we praise the Shava, birth and death story are going to continue. So, in the best interest of all, we should not meditate on the Shava, we should meditate on the Shiva. That's a better way to put it. So, we presently are Shava Akara. We are not Shiva Akara at all. So when I praise my wife for what she has done to me, because she is doing what I wanted her to do, not because of anything else, I am praising the Shava. As long as my son is doing what I intend him to do, I am praising the Shava. And as long as the company is giving me whatever they have promised to do and they are promoting me and doing this and doing that, I praise the Shava. But all those relationships are fictitious and false. They certainly don't exist. What exists is only Shiva, not Shava. So we need to see the reality. The reality here is the Shava. This filthy body is a Shava. And it is modifying every moment. Not even a moment, it is not modifiable. Like 2 days ago, I had a fantastic voice. No throat infection. I didn't ask for a throat infection to come. Now I have a throat infection or sore throat is there. So if it was in my control, wouldn't I not got it in the first place? Why should I now apply this, apply that, take this medicine, take that medicine? I would have removed it before coming also. But now I have throat infection. I have no idea whether that will turn into fever or this or that. I have no idea. That means when I say I have no idea, it shows the helplessness, despair. Shava is always despair. Shiva is always blissful. Better be Shiva rather than Shava. With that, we end a complete section of it. Now we are come to the state of being non-dual and how you work within the world. So 398.
398. This is Paramartha is Vedarahita, related one.
Yes.
Svatmanyaropita shesha bhasavastu nirasataha swayameva param brahma purna madvaya makriyam. The sloka. By the elimination of all apparent existences superimposed on the soul, the Supreme Brahman, infinite, the one without a second and beyond action, remains as itself.
Right. So Svatmani Aropita Ashesha. Shesha means the ending. Asesha. Asesha is without exhausting. That's the word is. Shesha is exhausting. Asesha is without exhausting. So Svatmani Aropita Asesha. As long as I create the Aropita. Aropa means putting something which is not real and calling that to be true. That is Aropita. I call myself as an employee, and then I call myself as a father, then I call myself as a brother, then I call myself as a friend, then I call myself as an enemy, then I call myself as this or that or whatever. This is the Aropita. Abhasa Vastu Nirasaktaha. Now these names are apparent reality. They are not truth. Today a friend becomes an enemy tomorrow, and tomorrow an enemy becomes a friend. Today a son becomes a father, and a father becomes a son. Today, a girl becomes a woman, and a woman becomes a wife, and a wife becomes something else. So it is funny. It doesn't have anything to do with it. So as an like a whims and fancies, we keep on creating something which is so idiotic to see. If we really look at it, even for once, we see that Swayameva Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahman itself remains. Purnama, sorry, Purnam Advaya Makritim. Akriti is the shapes. Purna is complete. Advayam is non-dual. So it's that Shiva which is inside is infinite, non-dual, and it doesn't have any activities. All the activities are just a superimposition. So earlier I was called as X, and today onwards I'll be called as so and so in the organization. And both are unreal. If I treat today from today that I am this, already I have failed in understanding Advaita. I have become Dvaiti, duality. So as long as I feel that I am a Dvaiti, Shankaracharya's Vivekachudamani is not going to help. As long as I am an Advaiti completely, Vivekachudamani is a good thing for liberation. So the choice is with me, whether I want to really see it or I just want to know it and then see it later. But irrespective of whatever it is, the seer himself is the seen. The seer here is the Brahman. The seen is also Brahman. Right now the seer is Vilas and the seen is Brahman, which is dual. Yeah, but you had a question.
This is all related to Shankaracharya's experience sharing, right?
Correct.
And for realized people, this is not required because they are already realized.
Correct.
This is for people like us.
Yes.
This teaching.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because most of the things which we have studied as basics are coming in a proper way here.
Correct.
Reinforcing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very true. Okay, then we go further. Yeah, you can read the next one.
Samahitayam sati chitta vrittau vrityau paratmani brahmani nirvikalpe na drishyate kasyadayam vikalpaha prajalpa matra parishishyate tataha. When the mind functions are merged in the Paramatman and Brahman, the absolute none of this phenomenal world is seen. Once it is reduced to a mere talk. Here merged means through the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And phenomenal world means created by the name and form, hence unreal. Mere talk on the lips of others who are ignorant. Yeah.
Right. So chitta vrittihi. Vritti is movement. Chitta is that which is called as inner consciousness. That keeps on moving. It's not supposed to move, but it moves along with the experience. So if it were to stay back the way it was, then it can see everything else moving along with it. It's like saying that sky is moving with the cloud. It appears to be, and I think some time ago I had given an assignment especially to Bhatt to watch the sky. Now at that time he was asking me what should he watch. So I was saying that watch the sky and see the clouds appearing and disappearing. So all the vrittis appear on the sky, but the sky by itself doesn't move but appears to move. If you keenly observe, you'll see both the sky and the cloud moving together. But really the sky doesn't move. The cloud moves. So if you were to do that, Paratmani Brahmani Nirvikalpe, if you are able to stay in that sky you have mastered Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What's the difference between Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa? Here, the Savikalpa is staying with the cloud. Nirvikalpa is moving away from the cloud. Na drishyate kaschit tayam vikalpaha. So there is nothing that to be seen. There is no perception of the world at all. This phenomena world becomes just an illusion. There is no real there. This is where Madhvacharya comes and says that no, this is not something which is achievable by everyone. Doesn't mean that sky is not seen by everyone. It doesn't mean that cloud is not seen by anyone. They are seeing the sky and the cloud, but they believe sky exists independent of the cloud, and they believe cloud exists independent of the sky because the cloud happens due to conditions and it appears in the sky. So sky and cloud are interrelated. As long as sky remains, cloud is going to remain, and as long as the cloud remains, sky is going to remain. So they both are going to be dual. There's nothing called as non-dual experience. This is what Madhvacharya says, and he is right. None of us can say that I don't have a wife or husband or a brother or a sister or a mother or father or whatever, irrespective of the fact that we are again and again every day coming back to the same thing, and we've been talking for last so many years and negating it to be not there, but knowing very well that it is all there. So like what Padma Shri rightly points out, we are doing intellectual insight. We're not really living into it because we are seeing the sky separated out of the cloud, and we are seeing the cloud separated out of the sky. But let's say for some reason suddenly you see that mirage there, you see the magician there, the sky, then you are removed from that. And this is where Madhvacharya says you require Sri Hari to help you. Just by your knowledge you cannot get this. So either you have to self-surrender, you either have to do this, you have to do that, and then only you can get it. Just by knowing something, it's still an intellectual experiences, and with intellectual experiences you really cannot experience the reality because you're experiencing it from the cloud, not from the sky. And to experience the sky you need to let go of the cloud, which you cannot. Being you yourself, that you cannot do that. As an example, if I were to fill it within my mind as late Vilas Kadiwal, can I do it? Is the question. Intellectually I can do it. Very truly I can do it. I know that I exist, and then I can put late Vilas Kadiwal and feel very happy about it also. Look, I am able to do that, which is actually fooling myself, because it is the intellect which is doing it. It's a GV which is doing it, knowing very well that I exist. So as long as I exist, so long the suffering is going to be there. So intellectually I can do this, but really can I do it is the question. So how will I come to know? If I were to lead the life from today as a dead person and for sustained period of time, then it is quite obvious that Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya has been totally understood. Otherwise, I am fooling myself. Whether I fool the other four of you who are there with me or not, I don't know. But at least I would know for myself that I have either fooled myself or I have not fooled myself. That's for sure. So, the inspiration here is the world becomes like a feather on one's shoulder if he understands the reality. Otherwise it becomes a burden to carry. So I am burdening as an employee, I'm burdened as a father, I'm burdened as a brother, burdened as a husband, and so forth, where nothing of that is real. Okay, 9:18 now, so let me break here and finish all the documentation work what is required, then we can meet tomorrow.
The next one tomorrow?
Yeah, 400. We are closing at 400. Nice. We are supposed to start from 400.
No, tomorrow is Ekatmake, right? Tomorrow is which one?
No, 400 one, right? You just read out Samahitayam Sati Chitta Bhatyam. 400 is about Asat Kalpaha Vikalpaha Ayam Vishwam Iti Eka Vastuni.
Yeah. This is Yeah, yes, correct. That is tomorrow, right?
Yes, that is from tomorrow. So 400th verse.
Yeah.
So we finished 399 verses.
Yes.
And from now on, we are all realized beings. No questions at all. From 400 till 586, we all are realized beings. Done with what should be done. Okay, see you tomorrow then.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, bye. Bye everyone. Yeah, bye.
Thank you.